Hello and welcome to the Influence Podcast. My name is Joy Ogbeide, a global influencer, public speaker, a graphic designer, and a voiceover artist. Once again, welcome and thank you for tuning in. So today I'll be talking about whether or not to move in silence. So there's been this current awareness about keeping your moves to yourself because of people's experiences, basically, about having to tell somebody and something happened. And if you are in this part of the world, I mean Africa, Nigeria, you will be able to relate to this part, even if it might not have happened to you. It might have happened to somebody, and you get to know about it. So I'll just give you my take. There are always two sides to everything. There are always the pros and cons. So let's say you decide to share with somebody, like your next move. What is your motive? These things should be examined. Is it that you want to feel that dopamine rush? There's this thing, you've not gone ahead to make any move yet, but that feeling of telling somebody about it just gets to make you feel excited, makes you feel like you've done it already. Or is it that you want to feel validated? You want someone to acknowledge that you're dreaming big, or you're about to make a step in the right direction? So I'd just like to drop this here, that in as much as we want to feel validated by other people, sometimes we should know that God has validated us. It's just humans that are learning to catch up. It's just humans trying to catch up with what God has already said about us. Scripture says that we've been chosen God before the foundation of the world. So before you were even born, you're already mapped and marked for greatness. So as much as validation is good, it feels good to be acknowledged that you're doing something, but that's not all there is to life. You won't always get people's validation, and that's okay. Another motive might be that you need help on that particular move you're about to make. Probably wanted to ask for directions or inputs, professional inputs, basically. I remember when I was going to start my podcast, I asked someone about it. He has his own podcast too, Beyond the Suits, by President Chinedu KJ. President is his name, actually. So I asked him how to go about podcasting, based on the fact that he has had his podcast running for a year now, or more than a year. So I didn't go about asking everybody or even my close friends, because no offense, not to demean any of them, but they've not done the podcasting thing before. Doesn't make them less of who they are. No, it doesn't. Just that they might not have a solid advice to give me as concerning podcasting, because it is not in their line. So I asked somebody who was already on that path. Okay, so another motive might be for ego purposes, just to feel like you're doing something, and probably to rub it on the person's face that it sounds weird, but it's true. We humans can be very, very wonderful. You would agree with me. So another motive too could just be that this person is your friend, you share everything, this person tells you everything, and you as well tell the person everything. So you just feel like there's no point hiding this thing from the person, because this is a major move, or this is something, or this is my next move, and I just feel that you should know about it. All these things in and of themselves are not bad. There's actually time for everything. So I'd like to say that it is not wrong, or it's not entirely bad to let a person know, or let people know what it is that you're going to do, or your next move is not entirely wrong. But the thing is, you just have to be careful and discerning. In as much as in the multitude of counsel there is safety, not every person has your interest at heart. Not every person is genuinely happy for you. And it is good to surround yourself with people who love you, who support you, who are not joy killers. And I'd like to mention that you should be so emotionally intelligent that you can catch yourself when you're beginning to feel envious of someone else's progress. I mean, your friend or anybody comes to tell you, or you see that they are doing something really beautiful or big, probably a move that you've not had the courage to take, or you are basically dealing with life. So the person is making moves. You have to check how it makes you feel. I wrote down here that you would know the true state of your heart towards people, friends, family, acquaintances when they make significant leaps in life. I'll read that again. You would know the true state of your heart towards people, friends, family, and acquaintances when they make significant leaps in life. So you should be able to catch yourself. In fact, know every type of emotion you are feeling. You should know when it is you are hungry. Sometimes when we get angry, it's not because we are really angry, it's hunger. Yes, there was a time as I noticed that my mood changes when I'm hungry. It kind of affects my mood. So I try not to get to the point where I'm really hungry. So you should know when you're feeling hunger, when you're feeling anger, when you're feeling envious. Every human being feels emotion. Yes, you can get envious. So you should be able to check that energy. You know that, okay, I think I'm being envious of this person. Then you check your heart. I was reading a post from a lady who happens to be a brand identity designer. She said there was a time that she was following a particular lady who was also a graphic designer too. She was following her on social media. Then at a point, she started getting envious of this lady, feeling this contempt. And she noticed it. She said, what did she do? She prayed about it. And subsequently, when she started seeing the lady's post, she would always pray for the lady, and she would say this lady's influence increases. She would reach more audience. She's blessed. Like, she kept praying for the lady, and that was how she noticed that the envy faded away eventually. So you should be able to know when you're envious. So it's not always about us. It's not always about this person is jealous of me, this person is envious of me. You too, you have been envious of somebody before. Probably they got something that you felt you were qualified to get. If you feel that you are qualified to get something, the other person is also qualified to get something. Time and chance happens. We believe in the favor of God, but there's no but to the favor of God, sha. Time and chance happens. Be genuinely happy for people. I know it can be hard sometimes, especially when you've been waiting for so long and it looks as though someone got theirs on a platter. It takes a lot to be happy for somebody. So as much as we are surrounding ourselves with people who genuinely love us, who are happy to see us win, we should endeavor to be those people. We should endeavor to be that person that wants to see another person win. So, and if you are going to be taking advice, or if you decide to share your next move, don't overshare. I made mention earlier about when I went to start my podcast, I talked to just one person about it. I didn't go about asking the world. I talked to one person and probably watched some YouTube videos and the rest of that. I didn't go about telling every single person that cared to listen that I was about to start a podcast, because you know that saying, too many cooks, what happened? Too many cooks spoil the food. I think it's too many cooks spoil the broth. But you can't be having too many opinions about what you are going to do, because eventually you would feel crippled. You would feel as though, where will I start from? You will get overwhelmed eventually. So you can't afford to be telling everybody. As much as we don't like to say this part, we don't like to sound like we are suspicious of the air we breathe, but not everybody is happy for you. That's the truth of the matter. So you should be discerning. You should know who and who to tell. And if there's something I've come to understand is you should trust yourself too. Trust your guts. I've mentioned in my previous podcast that those guts were given to you for a reason. So you should trust it. The Spirit of God is there with you. You have the wisdom of God. It's not every time that you will listen to somebody. Sometimes make the move first. After you make the move, then you can now start taking in opinions, corrections, feedbacks, and improve as you go on. Bishop T.D. Jakes, in his book The Lady, Her Lover, and Her Lord, said that creativity starts with a healthy respect for your opinions. Many of us are afraid to listen to ourselves. We are afraid to spend time with ourselves. We drown ourselves with social media, music, videos, everything except ourselves. We are afraid of our own company, and the only time we get to spend time with ourselves is when we are about to sleep. Some of us, we listen to things into sleep. Sometimes just listen to yourself. Give yourself that quiet time. Be with just your notepad and your pen. Scribble things down, write down. You would be surprised at the things that will come out from you, your level of thought. Some of us don't know how intelligent we are until we start writing things down. And sometimes maybe you go back to the things that you wrote some time ago, months ago, years ago, you are like, so I wrote that. I was thinking about that. It's really beautiful. So we should learn to trust our intellect. Listen to yourself. As much as you see somebody else's opinion as important, your opinion about yourself is important. Your opinion about your dreams, your opinion about your next move is important. Allow yourself to be bored. It's not every time that you do something. Just stay and do nothing. It's part of being productive, because by the time you stop being bored, or the moment you decide to do something, you have actually thought everything through. Of course, you can't really think life through at a sitting, but I'm saying that when you give yourself a chance to sit down for a while, just brood, think about what you did previously, your mistakes, the things you did well. It's the time for you to applaud yourself. It's the time for you to constructively criticize yourself. So enjoy your own company. Enjoy your own company. So I'd have to say that whether or not you want to move in silence is totally up to you. The context differs. There's no rule of thumb to these things. There are some times that saying what it is that you are going to do keeps you accountable. Other times, when you tell persons what it is you are going to do, you get that sense of fulfillment. It feels as though you've already done it. So there is no more zeal for you to do it. So it's two ways. Just be discerning and know what it is that you want to do. So we've come to the end of today's podcast. Thank you for staying tuned. Do have a great week. Do well to follow me on social media. Leave your suggestions, everything. If you're listening from Spotify, there's a Q&A on this episode. Please do well to answer it. And bye. You're amazing. Too many cooks spoil the broth.